Hey, today, I want to talk about the best all-around striker in every weight class. I'm going to base it on current time and not what they have done for many years ago. So recent performances, wins and losses will play a massive part for my picks. So let's start off with the Flyweight division, where you could go with different picks, but my best striker for this division is Manel Kape. You could go with Moreno as well, but I would say Moreno is the best boxer at Flyweight and not the overall best striker. Manel has showcased his crispy striking several times. Only time he couldn't show it was against a heavy wrestler like Mokaev, but other than that, he is pretty dominant when it comes to the feet. He mixes it up very well with punches, kicks, knees, and elbows while having power. Also, I like his combos a lot, so he will be my best striker at Flyweight. The bantamweight division is probably the hardest to pick from since you have great strikers like Umar, Sean, Jan, and Corey, so it all depends on what type of striking you like. But I have to give it to Jan. Him and Sean had a very competitive fight, where both showed great striking, but Jan has always been much cleaner. He probably has the cleanest Muay Thai and sweeps I've seen in the UFC, especially at bantamweight. He also recently dominated Figgy easily. The only guy who would be able to stand and bang with him would be Umar in my opinion, since him and Yan are easily the two most skilled at bantamweight. Umar's striking is complete, and he did show us that against Corey, but since he hasn't beaten any top names except Corey, I will give the best striker to Yan, but I'm confident that Umar will take that title in a short time, after beating Merab and probably Sean if that's the next fight after Merab. Featherweight is for me to pick, since he has literally knocked out both the two greatest featherweights of all time, and both of them are seen as one of the best strikers of all time, so to be able to knock them both out back-to-back is insane, and will 100% earn you the best striker in your division title. It's obviously Ilya. He may not mix it up that good when it comes to knees, elbows, and kicks, but no one has still figured him out on the feet or has caused problems for him on the feet, and that will most likely stay like that since no one can stand and bang with Ilya at featherweight. But if he was to move up to lightweight, then we would have a different conversation. So Ilya is 100% the best striker in featherweight, but I would like to see more from him when it comes to kicks, knees, and elbows, because we already know that his boxing is outstanding. But to be an elite striker, you need to be elite everywhere in the striking realm, but also, there ain't really another fighter at featherweight who could be given the best striker. He did outstrike Max like it was nothing, and knocked him out, so must be doing something right. Now moving on to the lightweight division, I have chosen Islam for the best striker. I know a lot of you will say what about Dustin or Justin, but Islam has been the smarter striker. He literally outstruck Charles, Volk, and Dustin, all back-to-back. I know y'all will say it's because of the takedown threat, but Islam has still been managed to showcase his striking in all these fights, despite the threat of the takedown. He barely gets hit hard and has a very good striking defense. Also, he mixes it up better than Dustin and Charles. I would say Dustin is the best boxer at lightweight, and Charles has the best Thai, but the problem with Charles is that he has been outstruck by Dustin, Justin, and Islam. Charles is also always open to big shots and being dropped. I like a striker who can do it all. Boxing, all type of kicks, elbows, knees, good clinch game, and also good defensively. And that's exactly what Islam be doing in his fights, and he's still getting better on the feet. We will probably see an even more improved and better version of Islam against Arman when it comes to his striking. Therefore, my best striker at lightweight is Islam Makhachev. For welterweight, I have gone with Ian Gary. You could also pick MVP, but the problem is, he hasn't shown all his skills yet. In the UFC, he did fight Gary, and lost. I know Gary really didn't stand and bang with him, but still, Gary has shown his striking skills way more and been successful. He has only lost one time, and that was against Shavkat, who is probably the most dangerous guy in their division. Also, Shavkat is a very good striker as well, but Gary was too worried about the takedown, which made him fight very defensively. I wouldn't even be mad if you would pick Shavkat here, but in my opinion, Gary is the smarter striker, and the one who gets hit less, and is a complete striker who can do it all. MVP would again be another shout. But first, let's see if he can beat Shara Bullet or not. My pick for middleweight is Izzy. I still believe Izzy is the best pure striker at middleweight, and it ain't really that close if you think about it. I know he lost to Strickland, which is a really bad look, since Strickland is a one-dimensional fighter. But I believe that was just a bad night for Izzy, and if they were to fight again, Izzy would win. He also lost to Drikas, but he did look very good in that fight, even though he lost by submission. We can't forget that Izzy was beating Alex in their first fight until he got caught, and in the rematch he literally knocked him out cold. My point is that Izzy should be able to beat everyone at middleweight, as long as the fight stands on the feet. But obviously this is MMA. I won't have him as the current best striker if he goes out there and loses to Imanov, because then he has lost way too many times in recent times to keep that best striker title at middleweight. Another good shout is Shara Bullet, whose striking looks amazing and very aggressive. But the reason I can't have him as the current best striker is because he hasn't beat any top names yet. I will wait and see what happens between him and MVP, and also what happens between Izzy and Imanov. If Izzy loses and Shara wins, then I might consider having Shara as the best striker at middleweight. But as of right now, I have Izzy as the best striker at middleweight. I would like to see Izzy let his hands go more, and stop being so defensive so we can see if he really still got it or not, because if he loses this fight then he might be finished. Best striker at light heavyweight is pretty obvious. It's the 2 times Glory Kickboxing champion and UFC 2-weight champion. Alex Pereira is arguably the best striker currently in the UFC. I know he did get outstriked by Izzy, but Izzy is also one of the greatest strikers the UFC has seen. Pereira has outstruck everyone he has faced, except Izzy, and that should be enough to know he is one of the best strikers today in the UFC. He has beaten Izzy, Strickland, Jan, Jiri, Jamal, and Khalil, where he beat them all by knockout or TKO, except for Jan, where it was via decision, since Jan wrestled. But Alex is easily the best striker at light heavyweight, and I can't see anyone outstriking him currently, but I do think he will lose his next fight if it's against Ankalaev. Now, for the final weight class, which is the heavyweight division, you could go with multiple fighters like Gane, Volkov, Aspinall, or even Jones, considering his Muay Thai is good, but I have looked at who they have beat, and in which way, and therefore I have gone with Tom Aspinall since he be knocking everybody out easily. He may not be the most technical striker at heavyweight, since Gane and Volkov exist, who are more clean, but Aspinall has already beaten Volkov, and he would beat Gane easily too. Tom is for sure the best boxer at heavyweight in my opinion, but not the best overall striker because he doesn't use kicks or elbows, but that's also because he be knocking everybody out so quickly, until Gane proves he can beat more top guys comfortably. I will have Aspinall for my best striker at heavyweight. Currently, that's it for this video. In my next video, I will give you my picks for UFC 311, but until then, take care.